Hello, Masters! Welcome to the 23rd BetaDwarf development stream. I am joined today by the one and only Troubadour Zundmaster.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Who we got in the chat today? We got a lot of people showing up. That's always nice. Everyone here for the Battle Pass hype. We got Gandalf, we got Jess2, Zinyu, Loki, July, Steven, Tomato, TechBot. Hey, Dover's back. Nice to see you again. Saurus Dynasty, Nick Factor. Lots of good people here today. So, let's get right into it, shall we? Update 88 is scheduled for Wednesday, February the 20th. That's tomorrow. Everything goes to plan. The live servers are planned to be shut down at 9 UTC on Wednesday morning. So, basically, you got about 10 hours or so. I don't know. I can't do time on an analog clock.
So some of us will be up late tonight anticipating that update.
Hope you're not up too late. These things do take a couple of hours usually.
Oh, I'll be up waiting. You'll see me on Minion Masters tonight.
Alright. Remember that everything related to the update is still subject to change last minute. It's happened before. And please remember, you do not have to leave the stream to give feedback. You can just use Stomped, which you can find in a handy widget just below the stream. Update 88, of course, marks the release of Battle for Light's Reach and the debut of the new Brother of Light cards. So, Master, anything you're particularly looking forward to?
Well, in a general sense, I'm definitely looking forward to what I'm looking forward to the most, and I think most people are looking forward to the most are the new factions and seeing how that impacts gameplay and combos. You know, which of our favorite cards and decks will synergize more with the addition of factions, which will need to be updated to combat and conform to what surely will be an exciting new meta. Today and in particular, though, I'm extremely excited to see what the new Deem Cleaver card is all about. Anything with the word cleaver in it really, gets my ears perked up. So I'm definitely excited to reveal that and see what that's all about.
Yeah, we'll be getting through that in just a second. We have the usual routine to go through with the Battle Pass updates. We're going to sweep through all the cards with their release stats in case anything from the site was outdated or you've been under a rock for a few weeks. We're going to deviate a little bit from the regular format. It kind of sucked that you didn't actually get to see what the model looks like in-game, and I was very prone to human error when I made custom slides for new cards. So we're going to be previewing the cards directly from the Master Tower rather than the custom slides we had before. So let's hop right into it. So first up we have Gorag Gate, the supreme 2-mana Voidborn spell. Open a portal to the Void and summon either of the following with Turncoat, 7 Swarmers, 2 Dragon Whelps, or 1 Cleaver. What do you make of this card, Zunmaster? I've heard a lot of split opinions on this.
I really think it's an interesting card. The RNG aspect of it is something that really appeals to me. Anyone who knows me definitely knows that I like my RNG. The Cleaver, I think, is the strongest thing you can get out of this spell. Getting the Swarmers is pretty easy to counter. You can Daggerfall that or something. There's easy ways to counter Swarmers. Dragon Whelps, only 2 of them. I think that's going to be pretty easy to counter as well because that's going to just come, to your master. Your master should be able to take care of that. But Cleaver itself is going to be the one that's going to be what you're looking for, and that's going to be really the strong thing that comes out of this spell.
Yeah. Still a question in the chat. Turncoat is that a unit switches the side the first time it drops below 50% HP. And also important to note is that Gorag Gate is a defensive spell. You cannot play it on the enemy side of the field. Which is sort of the intent of the card. It's a card that's going to be amazing on defense. You're going to get a ton of value out of it. But generally these cards are going to be pretty easy to take down unless you're packing some serious support for them.
Yep, exactly. It's if you play this in your deck, you're gonna have to definitely have counters for the Turncoat. Once those units change, you're gonna have to have a counter for some of those. Luckily, they're all melee, so one thing you can definitely keep in mind is you can play a Defensive Chopper to counter this, or something along those lines. But you also
really good.
You also have the cheaper option in the, like I mentioned before, you have the Daggerfall, which I believe with the Dragon Whelps at 50%, that will kill them as well if you need to. But your master should be able to take care of that.
Indeed. On to the next one. He's finally in the game. It's Squire Puff. The 2-mana Puff spell. Once on the bridge, Squire Puff gives rage to 5 friendly random friendly minions, and then puffs out of play. If the minions affected are Empyrean minions, they also gain shield. It doesn't quite say in the description here, but the Squire Puff will always spawn directly in front of your Master Tower, and the lane he goes to is random. What the frick is an Empyrean minion? I'm glad you asked. We'll be covering that as soon as we're done with the cards. So Squire Puff, the last addition to the complete Puff set from Forced Showdown. What do you make of it?
So it's definitely an interesting unit. The fact that it's a spell and spawns a unit is interesting to me. It definitely adds some synergy to something like the Milloween deck, where you're trying to get more minions on the field while taking a bridge and getting a minion, trying to get the spell play spells at the same time. But with the unit itself, giving rage to 5 random friendly minions. If you're already on the offensive and you've got a lot of minions attacking tower or attacking the enemy master, then getting this on field can almost secure you a game.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a very interesting card. I haven't really. It's one that it's a little bit more confusing to me on how it's going to synergize into the game.
To answer you, it's a hick. It is instant. As soon as the Puff hits the bridge, it gives out the rage and then the shields. But obviously the travel time to the bridge takes about 5 seconds for the Puff. I haven't exactly timed it. Next up we have... Oh, sorry, you were going to say something?
Yeah, no, just the fact that it synergizes with the Empyrean is going to be very interesting too. Gaining those shields, something I've thought about, and we haven't really gotten into Empyrean yet, but something I've been thinking about looking at all the Empyreans that we're going to be looking at today and what's going to be revealed in the future. I'm seeing a lot of melee, so getting that extra shield for a defensive chopper counter or something like that is going to be pretty nice for the Empyrean units.
Yep. Next up, we have Morgrul's Rages. It's a 5-mana common Voidborn set of minions. These are 2 elite swarmers. Other than that, they come with the Voidborn Wound affinity. And that is, when a friendly Voidborn minion damages the opponent master while this card is in your hands, the next time you play this card, it has to be played, it's not a passive effect, all friendly minions on the field will gain Rage. And also to note, because I'm pretty sure we'd get a question about this otherwise, no Blood Imp's backlash damage does not count towards Voidborn wounds, so it's not the super hard counter to Blood Imps.
So I think the strength of this card is really going to depend on how many other, what other units are going to be considered Voidborn in the game. But getting that hit on the enemy master is a pretty strong prerequisite to getting the Voidborn wound. A very strong defensive player will be able to prevent the Voidborn from ever coming, and you could be sitting on a 5-mana cost card for a long time. But on the alternative, it's going to be, if you do get that prerequisite off, someone mentioned in chat, if Rammer being Voidborn, getting that easy attack on face and then throwing these minions and getting the rage, you're going to have really strong. You're going to have a lot of damage coming out from these two minions.
The easiest one is definitely going to be Gax the World Bomb, because he is a Voidborn unit and it does work with Morgrul's Rangers. It just has to be a minion, doesn't matter if it's ranged or anything. So
wow,
Gax will
I didn't
activate
think about that.
Morgrul's
That's
Rangers. I mean, it's pretty expensive. You're spending 5 mana just to set this up, so... But if you're a good Gax player, it's a nice synergy.
It's a guarantee, though, and if you have multiple of these cards in your hand, I assume they all get it?
Yeah. If you have 3 copies of this card in your hand and you get the trigger, they'll all get the buff.
Exactly. So you can just set up that play very, with 1 Gax, as long as you have your card set up correctly. If you rotate correctly and get the right cards in hand, you can make this a pretty strong play.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of depth to this for a common card. Next up, we have Shadow Whelp. Zinnia was asking for the Flying Assassin. Here we go. It's a 5-mana rare Voidborn flying minion. It's a Dragon Whelp, but it also has the abilities of an Assassin, which means it'll deal triple damage when it attacks from invisibility and can re-stealth a short duration after it attacks. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, in concept, it's a good idea. The issue I have with it is the 100 health. It's gonna die to a Defenso Chopper just the same way that, you know, like, and I keep bringing up Defenso Chopper today, but I'm seeing, you know, there's a lot of melee going on in this new update, you know, and I think melee is gonna be a big play a big role, and anything that gets countered just by one unit of the same cost is gonna, you know, you have to take a second look at that. Is it worth putting it in? The damage it does, though, if you're able to get the damage down from it, triple damage from from 150 damage, you're going to be countering a lot of minions with just this one Shadow Whelp. I also like 5-cost minions. It helps increase the attack speed of an APEP if you throw it into an APEP deck. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this card. It's definitely going to be it's easily countered if you notice that it's played, but
yeah,
if played correctly, you're going to get a lot of damage and a lot of value out of it.
Also comes as a good answer to stuff like the Soul Stealers or Harbingers. I know some people have quite a lot of issue against those cards. Shadow Whelp, we've played around with it. It's pretty good at getting rid of them. There's not too much you have that can answer that before it gets that first attack off, unless you have spells in your hand preemptively.
Yeah, so you might see this played on Volko, you know, where you get an extra anti-air option.
Volko's gonna love this
while
card,
dealing
yeah.
a lot of
He already loves the Dragon Whelp just for the sheer damage it can put out.
And someone just brought up, Wilby just brought up KP having that rage.
Yeah.
That is going to be very strong.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good in KP.
That's over 200 damage coming out of one hit if you off the invis attack. So
yeah, I mean it's about the same damage you'd expect out of an assassin on KP. Actually, I believe that's the same amount of damage as an assassin will deal straight up, and then with the KP buff it does a bit more. But obviously the flying element is the thing to consider here.
Yep.
Next up we have the first of the Brothers of Light. We've got the Shieldguard of Light, 6 mana Supreme Empyrean minion, and so he is a pretty beefy minion that comes with the Armor of Light ability, which is the first time this takes damage while the ability is active, which means that their armor is going to be glowing brightly. It's pretty hard to miss. It's going to explode and deal 75 damage and knock back nearby enemy ground minions. Works a lot like Morgrul's Rage does when he dies. And it has a cooldown of 12 seconds. And other than that, he has a sort of mini Prowler jump. It's a maximum range of 5 that he can charge at nearby enemies and deals double damage with them with. So you'll notice, compared to the original reveal of this mechanic on the site, it does a little bit more damage now, but we also increased the cooldown. That was mainly focused around CAELETH, because we found the cooldown on CAELETH's Armor of Light was just a little bit too low, but we'll get to that in a bit. Shieldguard of Light, I've seen people champion this as a fantastic Mordor card. What do you make of it?
So I do have a question before I give my opinion on it. So how does the hit work? Does that imply any sort of contact, or is it damage?
Any contact. So any damage, contact, basically.
Okay.
A ranged hit, even as like a crossbow dude, will proc the Armor of Light.
Okay, so a lightning bolt wouldn't proc it. If he's shielded, it wouldn't get procced, and an illusory cleaver attack wouldn't proc it.
Yeah, it needs to actually take damage.
Okay. Now, on lethal damage, let's say as the cooldown's up, on lethal, does he still proc it?
I believe he does.
Okay. So I definitely think that, like you said, you know, as a Mordor play, this is going to be really strong. 800 health is definitely something that is just for 6 mana. It's a lot to have on the field. So it's a very strong tank. Allows you to set up a lot of plays. The fact that it's an Empyrean unit and is going to synergize, you know, with other cards that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, definitely makes them really strong. I think this is definitely one of the stronger cards coming out of this new meta. I like the new update. Being 6 mana, being able to proc a Dragon Ball is another great thing that it can do. Just having more Dragon Ball options is nice. Yeah. So overall, I think this is a strong card. Armor of Light is just a fantastic play. It's stronger than Roar, if I'm not mistaken. Roar is 40 damage.
Roar is 50.
50? Okay. and this is 75. So there's a lot more minions that this is going to be able to kill with that hit, and it doesn't have to die on it on when it takes that hit. It still lives on if you can protect it for those 12 seconds, and it gets another armor of light off. It's it's a unit that you're going to want to protect, but at the same time, you're going to want to get it revived through your Mordar plays. It's a strong play. It's a strong card.
Yeah. Next up, we have CAELETH DAWNHAMMER. That is a lot of abilities on one card. So he is a Brother of Light. He gains a Divine Shield when his Armor of Light triggers. So an important thing to note about this is that the shield triggers after the damage does. So to say something like a Cleaver hits this, the Divine Shield will happen afterwards. That's something we think we need to clear up because it's not really obvious until you see it in play. And of course, the Armor of Light stuff cannot trigger when he is stunned. It also comes with the Empyrean Army ability, which is a deck building component. You have 5 or more Empyrean cards, which includes CAELETH himself. He will gain Taunt. So, CAELETH, what's your opinion on CAELETH, Sun Master?
Definitely another strong card. At 9 mana, it definitely takes a lot to get it to be that effective. But having the Taunt ability, it's kind of a much weaker version of a Troubadour in a way, where but it still has strengths to counter that because it gains the Divine Shield. So, like you said, the Cleaver is going to do the damage to it. So if you can get a couple Cleaver hits on it, you're going to kill it in 1 or 2 hits, but you still have to wait the 5 seconds for the Divine Shield to go away. With the Armor of Light there too, you're not going to be able to do much damage to him while keeping a lot of minions on him. The Divine Shield's going to allow you to build up a little bit of a swarm around him, but I don't know. This is going to be one that I'm going to be very excited to see people play and see how people synergize it. I definitely see some similarities to Troubadour, but I see it a little bit stronger, being that it's able to attack any minion other than air minions, but it's not limited to just attacking buildings. So I'm excited to see this played out. I'm excited to see what people do with it, and to see it again in Mordar when you get the 9 mana to revive through a Tombstone. That's going to be extremely strong. Yeah,
I think Mordar players are going to like this expansion quite a bit. Get a nice look at that cape as well. Artists really outdid themselves this time. Okay, so next up we have the final card reveal of the set. It is Krag'Ghoul Doomcleaver. He is a 9-mana legendary Voidborn minion. He's same stats as the Cleaver, but he has a unique mechanic to reduce the mana cost of a random Voidborn card hand in 1 every time he kills an enemy minion or gets a hit on the enemy Master Tower. So this is one scary guy when he enters the field.
Yeah, this is one that I'm extremely excited about. With the Voidborns, reducing their mana cost every time that you get 1 hit while they're in hand is going to be so strong. If you're able to get that Doomcleaver to hit face, if you're able to hit the enemy master, then you're going to be reducing the cards in your hand very quickly while giving them rage. Yeah. I mean, that is incredibly strong. Now, at 9 mana cost, that definitely is part of what makes him a little bit, that's what balances it out a little bit. You're throwing 9 mana for a Cleaver. 1 lightning bolt counters that. There's definitely some counters to that for 9 mana.
No matter how powerful the effect is, at the end of the day, he's still just a Cleaver. So it's not going to be great to just throw him out like you would a regular Cleaver, but obviously, as Gandalf pointed out, you can play this card on the defense. Say your opponent carelessly throws some multi-unit minions your way. He's going to clean up and start getting a lot of value. So you got to be pretty careful about the Krag'Ghoul, but he's got to get 3 kills to break even. So
yeah, and one thing that's pretty cool with this is with other Voidborn cards is if you end up playing him out and he starts reducing the cost of that Gax that we were talking about earlier, and then you've got your prerequisite for your other Voidborn cards significantly reduced. That Gax is no longer that 5 mana cost burden in your hand. It's something that's only 3 or 2. And then getting that out, then giving rage to all those Morgul's Morgul's Ragers. It's going to be that could be a pretty strong play. I don't know. There's going to be some interesting combos that come out of this Doomcleaver.
Oh yeah, that is one thing. It's not on this build, but it was a change we made to clarify the wording late this afternoon. The effects of the mana cost reduction goes away after the card is played. You're not permanently reducing cards by 1 mana. I think this would be a lot
that's an interesting
weaker
point.
if that's the case. And also to answer Professor Willibus, if you have only one Voidborn card in your hand, that is the only target to be reduced, so yes, it would be reduced 3 times. And next up, we have the final card of the set, the Brothers of Light, a 10-mana common Empyrean duo. They're 2 pretty beefy dudes with Armor of Light. A nice common card to round out the set and introduce that Armor of Light mechanic right at the start of the season. I honestly really like this card. What about you?
If I'm not mistaken, is this basically 2 of the Shieldguard of Lights?
It's a Shieldguard of Lights with a bit less HP, more damage on a single attack, and the Armor of Light instead of the well, it doesn't have the pounce, obviously.
So I like the fact that it spawns 2 minions at 10 cost instead of 1 minion. It's not countered by just a single lightning bolt. I think with some of the minions you're seeing released today, you're going to see lightning bolt added into a few decks. But this isn't countered by a single lightning bolt. It's 10 mana though. Getting 10 mana out on the field is always a burden.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of time letting your enemy build up some value. If you play the 10 mana, you have nothing to support it with. So, definitely a strong card. But again, where the mana comes into play, is it really worth what it offers? Armor of Light, I think is a very strong thing. We've talked about it already today, but having it on 2 minions at once, that's going to be pretty cool. Instead of just having it on 1 minion that you're throwing out there at a time.
Gesture, I'm not sure where you're getting that from. The Divine Shield after Armor of Light is exclusive to CAELETH. Brothers of Light do not get a Divine Shield once Armor of Light has popped.
Yeah, CAELETH is the only minion that gets the Empyrean buff.
Okay,
right?
Looks like it was just a misunderstanding. That's okay. Alright, so that'll be it for the new season cards. It's great to see people excited about them. Had a lot of fun playtesting as well. And also want to give a special shout out to all the playtesters we had behind the scenes. They've been helping us determine the right spots of these cards. There have been quite a few adjustments. I know the SQUIRE Puff was something completely different before, but that's a story for another day, I think. So, the elephant in the room since the start of this battle pass has been these faction tags. Who belongs in what faction? How many factions are there? What are the factions? Well, I can't really answer the first one. We'd be here all night, and I don't think Zunmaster would find that very entertaining to hear me leading them out. I can't confirm what our current factions are, though be aware there may be more additions in the future. So I'm just going to list off these factions and give you a brief description so you can sort of understand what kind of unit would fall into that. So, Empyrean is the most human of the factions. They represent the militaristic units such as Crossbow Dudes and the Brothers of Light, and also come from a place called the Imperium of Light. As the name might suggest, light magic's also within the vein, and generally just a sort of military troop you might have seen out of the Legionnaires. The Voidborn are the demonic race that encapsulates the demons of the north, from cleavers to incubi to even the mighty Colossus. The Crystal Elves, as featured in Guardians of the Crystal Spire Battle Pass, are a race of magical elves that live in a tentative alliance with the Empyreans. The Zenchi are... Well, somebody didn't want to give me more info on this one, so I'll have to talk about them another time. I can tell you they're all about elements and the Shihu race, though, so that's a story for another developer stream. The Slither are a faction of mysterious snake spirits residing in the Slither Dominion to the west. They're a race of lordly egomaniacal serpents who enslave other races and scroll amongst themselves on a regular basis. The Accursed are the Haunted, the Soulless, the Resurrected. They're the kind of creatures you would read about in horror stories, and their true origins are unknown. While Mordar might have had a hand in creating some of them, he can't possibly be responsible for the amount of accursed that exists these days. Puffs are small, legendary creatures that will idly puff in and out of existence as they see fit, without a care in the world. They generally appear to be rather fragile, delicate creatures, but in reality they simply choose to leave if you happen to lose their trust or they become threatened. Does that make them immortal? I don't know, I'm just reading what I've been told. The Outlanders are our well-known sci-fi minions. Who the hell knows how they got into Minion Masters? And finally, we have the Scrats, a race of small, squeaky rat people that, despite their dim wits and lack of intelligence, are known to have quite the knack for inventing and salvaging. So what do you make of the lineup of factions we've got, Zunbuster?
Oh, I'm really excited. I'm excited for the Accursed. I think the Accursed is going to be cool. I'm excited to see what that's all about. If there's any synergy with any of the Accursed, the Puffs, obviously, everyone's excited about Puffs. Who doesn't like a good Puff?
Who doesn't like Puffs?
The Scrats, the small squeaky rat people, that's going to be pretty fun to see what that's going to be see
I'm not biased.
to see if anything in the future is released. You're not biased at all now.
Of course not. Not biased, definitely.
Maybe finally the Bazooka Scrat can get the honor it deserves.
It already does in my heart. So there was a little bit of debate about Wolf Among Sheep. The werewolf cards fall under the Accursed faction. Just to clear that up. And one thing to note is that these faction tags will work in the deck building search function. So I know that would have been a pretty frequently requested feature, so I decided to do it myself ahead of time. So you can search these factions in the deck building come tomorrow and build, say, a quick theme deck. Now, some of you may be wondering why on earth we went into so much detail with making lore for all of these races if we don't have much of a pre-established world yet. And that's true. All we've had so far is some audiobooks for the Crystal Isles and Diona. The operative here is so far. Starting today, we are launching a brand new world map for our games. It can be found at minionmasters.com/map or minionmastersthegame.com/map. And we're going to have a quick little look at it through the stream right now. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. Here it is. This is the world of our games. And I can't alt-tab now because that kind of just reveals everything. Damn it. I'll have to leave you in charge of chat for a bit. This is something we've been drawing up for a while now within the office. As you can see, you've got the Sliver Dominion to the west. Scratlands, the Highlands, the Dwarven Mountains, and the Cursed Lands make up most of the southern side of the map. We've got the Elven Kingdom and the Imperium of Light basically neighbouring each other up here. And of course, the Demon Wastes up here. Let's see if we can find Light's Reach that this battle pass takes place in. It's right over here by the Cracked Mountains, and I'll do a little bit of narration for you, I suppose. Light's Reach is the great walled city that stands as a bulwark against the Voidborn in the north. It has been regularly besieged for hundreds of years, and is the first and greatest line of defense for the Imperium of Light, perhaps the entirety of our world. The once thriving mountain city has been converted into a single massive fortification, and the vast majority of the Imperium forces can be found stationed there. It is situated in the only known mountain pass in the Cracked Mountains, an otherwise impassable mountain range that separates the Demon Waste from the Imperium of Light, and blocks the only passable way through the mountains. Any demonic army wishing to push into Imperium lands has to break Light's Reach. So, you a fan of maps, Master?
Well, I'm the type of person who uses Google Maps for everything, and just kind of types in the place I want to go.
We don't have an address book just yet, sorry.
So no GPS system or anything,
no,
right?
Give it a couple thousand years.
I think that once that's implemented, that'll be something I'll be more into. I like the lore aspect behind it, though. I really like. I love whenever a game adds more lore and you just get more story behind what you're doing. Why are you playing these minions? Who are they? What's the story behind them? So I definitely like that aspect of it.
Yeah, this is something.
And the map is whoever designed this map did a very, very good job. It definitely looks beautiful.
It was multiple people. A lot of us have had a hand in it. I've had a hand in it. Artists have. It was sort of a collaborative effort for us to come together and to start piecing these bits of lore together over the last couple of months, and we're really happy we managed to get this map out into a state that it can be released. So you can expect lots of interesting lore developments as we go along in Minion Masters and our future games.
There's one area of the map that really caught my eye. It was the Shattered Depths, the Obsidian Tower. I'm excited to see what that's all about. Hopefully something comes out about that a little bit more in the future.
Lots of places to explore in the future, indeed. So yeah, that is available right now. I will post the link in chat for people who haven't typed it out yet, and you can have a little look-see. Let's try and catch up on chat real quick. Oh, there is a lot to catch up on chat. Maybe I'll have to do that later. And also, for those curious, this map was actually the original spark of inspiration that led us to setting up a forced tabletop RPG that we're doing internally. That's starting next week, and I'm the one that's running it, so that'll be lots of fun, although I don't know how much we'll be updating with the community on it. Yeah, we'll get some photos and all that jazz. Oh, that's enough lore for now anyways. How about we relax and take a view through the new Battle Pass, which I'm sure you've been waiting about 10-15 minutes for me to go through, depending on your reading speed.
Woohoo, Battle Pass.
FDN isn't participating in it. He's not allowed. Alright, so... Alright, this Battle Pass is kind of glitchy because I'm on my actual account. So let's just scroll back through and hope no one saw anything. Alright, so level 1, you can pick yourself up if you go to the Premium Pass. High Inquisitor DAWNHAMMER, with that ruffle skin that was teased in the blog post on Monday. A nice Empyrean feel to DAWNHAMMER. She's coming packing with all sorts of holy implements. Particularly useful against the Cursed, I might as well add. And of course, you asked last time, you wanted Ruffles to get skins as well. We delivered.
I mean, I didn't even notice Diona had a skin. I was only looking at Ruffles.
That is more than fair enough. And obviously at level 6 you can pick yourself up a guaranteed copy of SQUIRE Puff. So you don't have to rely on any sort of randomness to get that puff in your life. Level 9, for the newer players, you get some 5 copies of Spear Throwers. At level 14, there is a Morgrul's Rager's avatar. Level 22, you can pick yourself up a Shieldguard of Light avatar and 10 copies of Rammer. As well as level 19 gets you 5 copies of Magma Storm. Level 30, you can get yourself a rare emote, the Light's Reach Brother Puffs. All looking all menacing. Came to the wrong side of town if you see those guys in your match. And you get a... Oh, hang on, sorry. I'm being told it's pronounced Meme Storm. Sorry about that. Level 13, you can pick up a Supreme Avatar, which is CAELETH DAWNHAMMER. Level 38, 20 copies of Divine Warrior. I feel like I should punch the person that put that there. Level 45, you can pick up a Brother of Light avatar. And at level 46, it is our first ever animated avatar. The legendary Reach Brother Splash avatar. If your resolution's too bad to make it out, those sunbeams at the back of the avatar are glowing. So this is our first ever animated avatar you can pick up at level 46, and it's available to anyone.
That is some next level avatar play there.
Yep, this animates anywhere you see the avatar. In-game, on the menu, your profile page. So basically what this is just going to be a new meta for the avatars. So if you have some kind of hipster avatar you've been holding out on for a couple of months, you can go ahead and stick that on. You'll be truly unique. Level 54, you can pick up a Shadow Whelp avatar, as well as a nice bundle of shards. Level 62, the obligatory Squire Puff emote. We can't go without putting this into the game. Everyone loves a little bit of Squire Puff in their lives. Update 70, oh, is that a legendary emote? Because just one Squire Puff wasn't enough.
Whoa. And it moves.
Yeah, it's not our first legendary animated emote. That would go to the High Five Puff from the referral system, which we fixed, by the way. But yeah, get a nice little growling puff going on in your match. The pay-to-win emote, says Neo. I mean, it'll definitely be distracting. Pay-to-win indeed. Level 78, you can praise the sun along with this jolly puff. With the Puff the Sun emote. And so can our lawyers. Level 94, you can pick yourself up a Crackle Doomcleaver avatar. And level 100, someone was asking for a Night Puff. Here he is, it's Sir King Puff.
Oh, that's awesome. Sir King Puff, I love it.
I love it too. Alright, so that is going to be the overview of the Battle Pass. I've got a nice little recap screen here for you of the Battle Pass content coming in this update. Alright, so a quick bit of news before we move on to the QA. The Card House contest is going to be rolling on once the update drops. This time, House Valor can get you the Morgul the Swarmer King, House Triumph can get you Gax the World Bomb, and House Glory will still get you a random card. So that's a nice way to fill in those Voidborn decks that you might be wanting to build. And a quick note, the fan art contest ended last week, and we're moving the Discord channel down into the archive section, just above the voice channels. We had a ton of fun. Sorry, words are failing me today. We had a ton of fun running this contest, and it seems like the entrants did too. It was so much fun, in fact, we may be considering starting another contest in April. What did you make of the fan art contest? You check it out?
Oh, I checked it out. I loved it. The winner was absolutely hilarious. I mean, who doesn't ever throw out the who doesn't ever throw out a crossbow guild and just think of what they're doing in there before they come out?
Yeah,
just to put that into animation was amazing.
For the maximum dominance.
But even beyond like the honorable mentions, the ones that were in the winners and the honorable mentions, there was just a lot of fantastic art that came out of it, and I'm so glad to see that the community was so into it. And if there's another one in April, I can't wait to see what comes out of it. Hopefully you get a little bit more participation, get to see more people's creativity, because I definitely see it in a lot of the community, and people just got to come out and show it.
Yeah, I'm seeing some questions about the Volker skin. Obviously, I mentioned this before, but I am able to announce through the internal news, we have got a new dwarf on board to help with the animations, so that should hopefully, maybe at some point, we'll be able to get around to Volko. I can't really reveal anything too much, but I've seen some fairly exciting stuff for our boy in red. So, we are neglecting him intentionally. So, stay tuned in regards to that. Alright, so we're going to be moving to some Q&A now, that we've gone through all of the reveals for this update. Oh, also to note, other than that, there's going to be some, there's going to be general guilds, bug fixes, and just sort of quality of life on top of that. There will not be any balance changes coming this patch. That's just the way that is. So we're going to some Q&A now. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask Zunmaster?
I feel like I've kind of been asking them throughout the
That's fair.
The stream as I've had them. So if anything comes to mind, I'll definitely ask.
Why did
I guess actually, sorry. One thing that did come to my mind. Is there anything that's going on? With the guild pass or anything? I know it says coming soon. Do we have any updates on when that's going to be?
I don't have an estimate on the deadline, but it's something we're trying to get out in a relatively close future patch.
Cool.
It's something we are working on quite a bit behind the scenes. All right, so
yeah, I know with this battle pass, it's probably hard to squeeze in another update on a guild pass, but I'm excited for that to come out. Guilds are very exciting.
All right, so we got some questions coming in. Why only 2 skins for the battle pass? So this isn't the easiest thing for me to say. I haven't really rehearsed much of a response, so We've constantly been trying out new things to the battle passes, and this is part of the process of trying to fit together many of the different processes we have working on the game. While there is a skin less in the battle pass, we're also trying out lots of new stuff to try and improve the core of the game, like the Empyrean model rework and upping the general quality of the game, with the resources we have, and we're going with the animated avatars and emotes for this battle pass at least, perhaps more in the future. That's about it.
I did notice you guys updated the was it the Legionnaires March?
Yeah, that was in the blog post on Monday. That's another example of them.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that's like really cool that they were working on, that you were working on as far as getting, updated animations in the game. So
when's Dev Internal tournament with casters? I want to see Seafox win it. It's something we were discussing a while ago. I think it kind of fell through, so maybe I'll try bringing up the ideas around about the launch of the game. The map have Setsu faction, or they are in space. The map is not the final iteration of it. We're going to be hopefully evolving and adding to this map as time goes on. So the new battle pass will start tomorrow, Daniel. Let's see. Minion skins, any word on those yet? We've had a statement out there for a while now. We're generally just not going to do them. The problem with minion skins is that it's something that essentially muddies how the game might look for a new player. Any reason for no balance changes this patch? None that I'd be able to give you. I'm not particularly in charge with the balance changes side of things. Any plans to revisit some of the Crystal Light cards of the new faction type mechanics? So yeah, the Affinity stuff. That is something we'd definitely like to build upon in the future, with maybe new card mechanics or revisiting old ones. ETA for the next balance patch? I can't really provide one solidly right now. I'm not too familiar with the plans for the next couple of patches, but it's obviously something we're always trying to keep in mind. Will you ever change or add more to the challenges mode? We don't have any particular plans to change the challenges at the moment. Wildcards is not a topic I'm really suited for. That is a topic for a game designer, and unfortunately I am not one of those. I mean, we've seen your feedback on the topic and I've been passing it on. That's pretty much all I can say right now. It's something we've definitely noticed and it's something we've been talking about internally, but I don't have any news on it right now. Anything to say about the fact in Forced Showdown, the current mins that are Imperial are mostly Sliverlord Faction 2? I believe that's what we call a retcon, Stephen. I mean, it is a pretty dirty word to say it like that, but yeah, most of those minions are being changed from Sliver to Empyrean, which is why they got those model updates. What's progress on the Volko rework? Well, we have hired a new animator, which was the main blocker on releasing the new Volko. And of course, when Volko comes out, so do the skins. What kind of stuff are we going to see coming in guilds? Well, obviously there's the guild pass. I believe, now this is fresh off the presses, there may be some kind of unlockable flair for banners. I've seen something like that internally. Don't have too much news on how that might be earned. Maybe it's related to guild pass, but something to make your guild stand out from the rest in terms of achievements. Any internal discussions regarding an unranked playlist? All the time. We have internal discussions on this stuff all the time. It's just not always we can. It's not always that we have a statement that we can really put out there. Will there be guild custom position names? You'll feel free to suggest that. That sounds like a pretty good idea.
That's a good suggestion. I like that.
Are we going to get more animated emotes and avatars? I hope so. I love that kind of stuff. So I hope so in the future. Any plans to make Golden Cards animated too? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no. I just don't think we have the resources to commit to that kind of thing. We're no Blizzard. Are they planning on making fights between guilds? I can't say anything about it at the time, unfortunately. Would love to state... Oh, it's not even a question, it's a statement. Would love to see some faction-themed arenas. I mean, we do have quite a few of them. Thinking off the top of my head, Magma Court is Voidborn, Tranquil Estate is Sliver, obviously Crash Site is Outlander. So there are quite a few of them. Also, Cemeteries are Cursed. We don't have a Puff Arena, though. Oh, of course we have the Scrat Arena. Any plans on increasing the amount of people in a guild? Not too sure of it myself, although it's definitely a suggestion we have been hearing. Oh, sorry, Dove, you're asking about Blood Imps avatars. I think that would require us right now to make another Blood Imps card, which I'm pretty sure people don't want us to do. Our cards have been pretty volatile. Any plans on changing win streaks? Not particularly that I've heard of. It's not really something up to me to decide. What about cards that previously won the Tri-Team tourney? Will they be coming out anytime soon? I don't know the specific release schedule, but I have seen Stormy prototypes behind the scenes, so I think we have that card in a somewhat playable state. I just don't know what the release schedule for it is. They are definitely being made. Still not really into the idea of having a new arena every battle pass. To be honest, it would kind of offset the point I made earlier about having the 2 skins. Stuff like arenas is a huge amount of effort, just the amount of man hours that has to go into it. I mean, we would like to make more arenas in the future. Everyone would like to see that. It's just not always something that's going to be particularly feasible. If there's updates on that, I'll be sure to give them out. Dirtwolf avatar was available one time in shop during the season. Whose email do I need to bribe the shop? I don't think it should have been the store only once, so I'll have to check up on that. The Valens make the announcer Puff talk more and have more lines. He's not a Puff. He is Caesar, which you can see in the intro to Minion Masters. He's the little emblem guy. Why did you change the old intro? I presume you mean the... That's not really a question for me. I suppose if we ever get anyone from the art department to stop being antisocial for 5 minutes to show up on the stream, they could answer that question for you. Why only 2 skins this season? I did answer that earlier, Grey Wolf. That was one of the first questions I answered. How to find antisocial artists? You post a job listing. They'll magnetize towards your company. Will there be new achievements? That's not something I've personally thought about, but I imagine they have when we come closer to release. Alright, I'll take one last question here. Any plans to add tabs to the chat? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. I assume you mean like you can have a tab for each person you private message? Maybe?
Probably includes like guild, like, you have your own guild one instead of having it mixed in with the general chat.
Right. Yes, there was something that's in the miscellaneous section of what's being updated is that if you turn off a channel such as general, it will remove anything related to that channel in the chat. So that's kind of a way to do it. So you'll have the channel list, you have global, and you have guilds, and say you only want to go to the guilds channel, you can just tick off global, and then all the global messages will disappear. So that will kind of function like tabs. Alright, so that is going to be it for the developer stream for today. Thanks everyone for showing up, and Obviously, a huge shout out to Zundmaster. You can find this Twitch channel here. Troubadour cosplaying extraordinaire and fantastic guest to have on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. It's great to actually get to look at to be on the inside of a developer stream when I haven't been able to even watch one myself. So, yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me, and
yeah,
hopefully we can do it again sometime.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow with the new Battle Pass update. Thanks everyone for being around. Thanks for being a lovely stream, and we will see you. Well, we'll see you when you see you.